When it comes to debt management and debt repayment, it is so hard to wrap our minds around becoming free. We like spending so much that we spend other people's money. And when we have to pay them back, it not only hurts our wallets, but it gives us a negative mindset towards debt. I'm here to show you a strategy that achieves paying off debt and making you feel happy while doing it. Hey, Freedom Frugalers, I am your virtual mentor, Izzy, and it's time for another episode of Frugal Freedom, where I teach you how to manage both your time and finances effectively. Today, we're going to be learning another method of paying off debt called the debt-snowball method, okay? This is my get out of debt for good series. So before we get started though, I just want to mention at any point, if you find anything helpful, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to become free and so that you know exactly when my new videos come out. All right. So we're going to talk about debt snowball. What is debt snowball? Okay. So debt snowball is a method of debt repayment where instead of paying off the debt with the highest interest, like we talked about in the last video, you pay off the debt with the lowest balance. All right. In theory, I bumped the mic. In theory, you will get a lot more debt paid off faster because you're starting small, all right? So still the same rules apply with the debt avalanche method. We're going to pay the minimums of each other balance. This time, we're going to tackle the lower payments in order. So we're going to align our debts, not from highest to lowest interest, but from lowest to highest balance. All right. And once you get rid of the lowest balance, you take the same amount that you were paying from the previous and go down the list. Okay. So we're still talking about the zero sum budgeting method. All right. So if you find that you have extra money, you take that extra money and pay more than the minimum on the lowest debt, and then take that money once it's paid off and do the same thing and repeat until it's done. All right, so in the last video, we're going to talk about the same 4 credit lines that utilize credit, but now we're focusing on the balance. All right, card number 1 was $125. Card number 2 is $3,000. Card number 4 is $230, and card number 3 is $2,600. Here is the following order that we should be paying that off. Card number 1, card number 4, card number 3, and finally card number 2. Okay, I like this method because it takes a more psychological approach to your situation. Okay, so you got into debt because you like spending, or you found yourself in an emergency situation and didn't save up, so you thought the best idea would be to take out a loan, use your credit card, whatever. Regardless of the situation, we now have to take a more emotional and psychological approach to this. Okay, there is no logic behind this method, and that's what I like about it. On the other side, we as humans, we desire instant gratification. Okay, so this method works because by getting the smallest reward, which means if we tackle a few debts and see that our debt is getting lower, that's our smallest reward. It triggers a small feeling in our brain. So it releases a bit of dopamine, right? It gets a small feeling in our brains to desire to keep going, okay? So let's put this in another perspective, okay? For instance, if I want to lose weight and there was a program that tells me I will see weight loss within 90 days, I may not stick to it, okay, if I'm not seeing the results right away, even though this is the best option for me, all right? But if I found a program that allows me to visually see that I'm losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, regardless of how illogical it is or bad it is for me, by gosh, I'm taking that approach. In all, when you see multiple accounts closing rapidly, it makes paying off your debt a little bit more enjoyable, okay? Not just for you, but for me as well, okay? This is the method that I took in the start of it, all right? Like I said, with all great things, there are great things to consider. My only kind of caveats for this is that economically, this isn't the best approach. You will pay more in interest fees, which means that it will take more money from your pockets. If you're a person that wants to see instant gratification and small victories, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But if you find it hard to stay disciplined and see that in the long run it'll work out for you, you do whatever makes sense to you. But like I said, we spend based on how things make us feel, and instant gratification may be the way to go, okay? Don't feel ashamed if you take this method, because I took this method, all right? This method isn't bad for people, and it may be the best bet if you're looking to get started right away paying off debts. I cannot reiterate that enough, all right? So paying off smaller debts is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you will more than likely spend more money than you have to. But if it means getting rid of your debt altogether, that is the end goal. I encourage you to tackle it, all right? So, in conclusion, the goal that I want for you is to get rid of your debt and do whatever it takes and whatever it makes sense to you. 4 years ago, when I started my journey of financial freedom, I utilized the debt avalanche method. I only wish I would have stuck to it. I just couldn't stop spending, all right? I want you to budget your money to pay off some of your debts, okay? So use this method, all right? And if you need help budgeting your debts, I have a free guide that allows you to come up with a strategy for paying off your debts and living comfortably while doing so with little to no discipline. If you would like to get a copy sent to your email, the link is in the description below. But that's not all. Check out my entire budgeting series. There's only 10 videos here on YouTube on my budgeting series that follows along with the strategies that I'm teaching you so that you have a better understanding. Once again, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. And finally, comment down below if you're looking to pay off debts. All right. If this method sounds good or anything that I missed. And lastly, if you have any other topics that you would like me to cover, I'm happy to see those below as well. I've been Izzy, your virtual mentor. And until next time, stay frugal until you're free. Peace.